I can see it when I look into your eyes. We are the same, and we are light, yeah, we are one. And we can make a difference.
Hi there, I'm Cary Ellis, author of 21st Century Superhuman. This is our 21st Century Superhuman live show, and today I have with me Alexander Rasol, good longtime friend and multi-dimensional, I don't know, compadre on the path, right? How are you today,
Avatar,
Alexander? Yeah.
compadre, yes.
How are you doing?
Fantastic. I got in the ocean today, got my feet in the sand, and felt the energy of our beautiful planet.
That's awesome. You and I both have chosen to live in really magical environments. I know you're in Costa Rica, and I've visited down there to the beautiful land where you are. And I'm here in the Yucatan, which is amazing. So we're both in these tropical, really beautiful environments that pull us out into nature. And I know you left the kind of corporate world in California, what, 20 years ago or something?
26 years ago, baby.
Wow. And
The
you
old
said,
Matrix. I did.
yeah,
Adios, mice.
I just applaud you for that. And I too also, I've been a traveler a lot of years and I've done some really amazing things. So those of us who have really chosen to step out of the old matrix system and begin searching for our own truth, our own highest expression in our lives, have some of that experience under our belts. And I think that's where we're speaking from, would you say?
Yes, absolutely. And yes, there is no substitute for experience. There's no substitute for actually doing things, taking that leap of faith and going for it, and just and taking the chance and applying all the principles that you've learned. So yeah, both you and I have done that a lot,
Yes,
and stuck to it. And
yes.
now, and look where we both are now. I mean, we've
Amazing.
had some really, really, super challenging years, and
Yes,
times we've both had times we don't know where our next meal is coming from. We don't know
yes.
what the heck is going on, and no money, no vehicle, no, own a place to live of our own, and just like, whoa, how do we deal with this? And look where we are now, though. We
I-
stuck it out.
It's true. And you even have two daughters, right? Beautiful,
Yes, two daughters that are
lovely,
now 7 and 10. Yes.
adorable daughters. And I think that a lot of people ask, they see this big change going on in the system. They see the invitation to their soul to live more according to their soul truth. And yet they go, well, what about my mortgage or my rent, my house, my family, my food? Where's it going to come from? Um, and feeling trapped in that old system, which these days we really call a slavery system, that there's been corporatocracy, we like to call it, running things, even running the governments on planet Earth. And we feed that corporatocracy by supporting things like Starbucks and Walmart and all of the corporate structure that is really keeping us locked into this uncomfortable monetary system, where on a planet that is so beautiful, we shouldn't really, by all rights, even have to pay for food and shelter and water and our ability to get places.
Yeah,
So
and as Dr. Stone would say, we shouldn't have to pay our gold coins to Caesar every year that are called taxes. And we're paying them to keep us enslaved to their system. Now, how does that make any sense?
that's right. So we're in the
So
middle of feeling this freedom taking place. And did you have another thought on that? Sorry, I jumped in.
yes, but it can wait.
It's always good. We bat things back and forth and we have great conversations. I love them. There's been some exciting things that have happened in the news just in the last couple days, and I can hardly help but jump up and down when I start seeing these things happening. And a few days ago, I watched and posted, and in fact, if anybody hasn't joined my Facebook site, which is 21st Century Superhuman Quantum Lifestyle, there's a lot of things getting posted there on our movement through this change and trying to keep a really positive view on it. But I listened the other day and posted there, about a 5-minute talk that Trump gave on exiting the New World Order about during the time of his election, which was 2016. And it's really what JFK was fighting. And I believe it's what he came on board to help dismantle in these times. How do you see that, Alexander?
Yeah, I think that, yeah, you're right. JFK attempted to exit the old system that started right before World War One, when they made the 100-year contract with the Federal Reserve System, and so they immediately, put us all into World War, the First World War, right after the contract was signed. So obviously planned, but and he tried to get us back, off of fiat money system and all that. And then Nixon eventually took us completely into the fiat money system. But anyway, yeah, so this is basically a culmination of what's been, we've been trying to get out of that old matrix system, which that goes back thousands of years. The
Yes.
old,
Goes
aristocracy
back to
rule from above.
Rome. Yeah.
It's not something that's a recent occurrence in human history. No, it goes back actually into prehistoric times, ruled by birthright, by the divine right of kings and all this stuff, and then the Holy Roman Empire and all that. So yeah, this is just the culmination of that. This is the Great Awakening. This is the time of the leaving. We are leaving those old systems and leaving those vibrational matrices that are part and parcel of these lifestyles and ways of living, separate from each other, separation consciousness, duality consciousness. We're moving into unity consciousness, moving back into unity with our planet, with all the creatures of the world, with all the universe, really, in love versus fear. The old systems are all based on fear and survival and all that. And we're moving into love now. Well, those who choose, this is what's going on, is that those who choose to base themselves in their heart instead of their head, base themselves in love instead of fear.
We are at a choice point. We are at literally the turning of the tides. We're at the shift of the ages. We are at the time when ancient systems that have been in place, we've been living almost under a programming, which is kept up by the news media and the conventional news media, which doesn't tell the truth, but it gives us a program that it wants us to operate under. And then we have all this alternative news that's happening with Q, with a lot of unveiling of the shadows, of what's been going on in the shadows. And I think many people are catching bits and pieces as they're going by, trying to make sense out of it. And so what we have to do is sort of like gather it together. And we were talking a little earlier, I had heard the quote, it's kind of like waking up from drinking too much and waking up with a hangover and going, oh my God, I feel awful. And it's waking up to what's been going on in the system. What have we been living together? Oh, wow, that feels awful. And I think both of us can remember that feeling, right?
Oh yeah, it's like, oh man, what did I agree to all these decades in my first part of my life? What did I, being a good little, sheeple or bio robot or
Yeah.
whatever, hamster in the wheel, and going to work and for getting a degree and doing all this system stuff that we're programmed to do, and getting the job and paying the taxes and buying the best car I could and getting the nice clothes to wear and all this materialistic consumerist crap, and then waking up and going, wait a second, man, this is not my beautiful house, this is not my beautiful life, how did I get here? Like the old Talking Heads song,
Right.
that mean the water hold me up, and all that, and kind of like, what the heck is this? What is this wacky world that I'm a part of now? And I don't want to be part of this anymore, the programming. And then the Matrix movies came out and everybody got, that woke up a lot of people, a whole generation.
Yeah.
And the programming and all that, and it really, now we're at a point where it's coming to a climax.
Yes, because what comes after that? Go ahead.
Yeah, what comes after that? Oh my God!
What comes after that? But what comes after that is, yes, what comes after that is, okay, now what do I do? And I think that's the quandary a lot of people are caught in right now. It's like, oh wow, the wake up call. oh, wow, we're in this changing of the tides. We're in this shifting of the ages of many thousands of years. And there's turbulence. When the tide changes, you know, you're a surfer, the waves come crashing in, the tide changes, and there's turbulence there. There's turbulence, and the sand churns up and the rocks churn up. And we're in those turbulent times right now, and we each agreed to jump into planet Earth to be here during these times. So we're not here by accident. We're not accidental tourists here. And yet we need to learn to manage our wake-up process to, and as I say in the book, and you're editing the books, the 21st Century Superhuman books, you're a great editor. I love your astute mind. And, but we say to breathe, smile, and love, and center within, so that we're not just looking at all the awful things saying, ain't it awful, ain't it awful, ain't it awful, because then that becomes our wrap, instead of how do we convert this into something new. Could you speak to that a second?
Sure, sure. That's exactly the choice that everybody has to make. It's like what you and I went through many years ago, is to make a choice. Okay, am I going to stick in the misery and despair and the hate and the, you know, oh, this is awful, the victim mentality, which is fear-based, or am I going to say, hey, you know, I choose a higher vibration. I choose to maintain and raise my consciousness and my vibration despite all that's happening right now.
Yes.
And I'm going to seek out information. I'm going to seek out allies. I'm going to seek out companionship. I'm going
Yes.
to seek out resources in order to help me do that. And that's what's necessary. But it can't be forced. Each individual must, at a soul level, at the deepest levels of your core being, must make the choice voluntarily for
Yes.
themselves, for yourself. And therefore, because then it ripples out. That choice then creates your reality. So remember, we're all creator beings. So we're creating our reality.
Yes.
And so based on our conscious voluntary choices. So every single person is being forced now. Forced. It's no longer an option like it was for us 20, 30 years ago.
Right.
It's a force now. Now with the lockdown, everybody was forced to go within, to forced to reevaluate their lives, their routine, their little hamster wheel, you know, whatever they were doing, everything had to be reevaluated down to the nitty-gritty of who they lived with, what they were doing on a daily basis, and everything went through like a dark night. Basically, the collective is going through a dark night of the soul together.
Yes.
And,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
and the choice is being presented. And now there's no middle ground. No
Right.
more middle ground. You're either going to go cling to fear and the old ways and the old systems, and you will go down with that ship if you do so, by the way, or you can latch on to the stars, to the higher path, and assist the millions of people daily that are awakening now in this great awakening of humanity, and hitch your what do they call it, the old hitch your train to the stars, you know,
Oh,
whatever,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
and go
Hitch your wagon
flying
to
up
the stars.
into the new earth, into the
Mhm.
new higher dimensional matrix, which is waiting for us, waiting for everybody, that I already live in full consciousness for years, and which is absolutely amazingly beautiful and
Yes.
phantasmagorical. And I am experiencing telepathy. I'm experiencing so many things that we used to just dream about
Yeah.
because I chose. And so that's really all it takes,
Mm-hmm.
is the
And
choice, the firm choice and commitment. Hey, and I'm going to keep my vibration high, not just for myself, but for all of humanity, because every person that keeps their vibration high and raises it, we're all one. So it raises the collective vibration and
yes.
consciousness and gets us that much faster into the new earth, beautiful, higher dimensional, fun, full of joy lifestyle.
Yes, that we're headed into. And I think as people have done this introspection, this inward journey, this quiet time, maybe there's been an opportunity to say, what of the old me do I want to keep, and what part of it do I want to let go of? And as I've heard Sacha say several times in the last few days, he's kind of on a rampage. Take off the mask. This is about taking off our masks, the things that we hide behind that keep us functional in a society that's really falsely structured. This is how we wake up to beginning to communicate who we really are, who we truly are, instead of some falsified version of ourselves that we made up to keep from being punished or to conform or to fit in or to get the false accolades of a society that's just really kept us enslaved like a little rat on a wheel. And it's time to let go of those things. And it doesn't mean to say that we have to give up everything that we've been doing, but
Oh
maybe
no,
to
no, no.
reformulate it so that it really suits who we are, so that we're really giving joyfully to ourselves, our families, our communities, and maybe even making some long-term decisions where we can live, maybe move out of something that's really expensive and move into a simpler place. Those things may be true for some and not for some. But one of the things that I'd like to look at, I love grabbing the little news stories that are on the way by that give us clues that there really is change going on behind the scenes. Because I'll have people write me every day, even people that have known me for a long time, and they'll say, do you think Donald Trump is really part of the change, but he's signing this? And some of the things are he has to conform to something so that he can keep things moving behind the scenes. And and do you think we really are in the shift of the ages? Because the news media is telling us all of this. And again, probably the most insidious thing in our culture is the conventional news media, which is now being
Well,
called
they're
out.
liars. They're paid
Yeah,
liars.
they're paid liars.
They're
That's
the
right.
dark shamans. They're literally
Yep.
paid, funded by the the worst three-letter agency to literally shape reality. They're reality shapers. That's their
Yes.
job. Their job
Yes.
is to literally say and broadcast firmly, like a minister, like a priest, like the bishop of a church is firmly shut, like the old, fire and brimstone types, to say, this is reality, accept it. And that is how they program the people, the sheeple, to conform to whatever they want them to do. And it's all lies.
Yes.
It's all intentional programming. It's just made up crap.
It
Like, that's
is.
why Donald Trump, speaking of him, keeps saying fake news, fake news. It's worse than fake news.
It
It's
is.
actually intentionally fabricated lies. It's
Yes.
actually worse. Not all of it, most of it. I would say most of it. And every single thing they utter goes through big committees. I mean, it's all talked about, debated for hours in the editor's room. And so people think that, like, for example, people actually believe that Donald Trump or any president writes their own tweets. They don't. They have a huge staff with attorneys and everything. This is all calculated. Are you kidding? This guy graduated with honors from a big university. He doesn't make stupid little spelling mistakes. Are you kidding me? You think that would be allowed to go out? These are intentional. Every single letter is analyzed, every single word, every single letter that is capitalized instead of lowercase. This is all done with serious, 4.0 graduates from top universities analyzing every single aspect of everything. And it's also done in the mainstream media, the lamestream media, the fake
It's
news,
true. That's true.
mockingbird media. So this is the final war for the entire planet and our entire species. So it's something that, raising our vibration and love and light, that is the primary thing that we need to focus on.
Absolutely.
However,
Absolutely.
but we also need to acknowledge how actually serious this is, not
Yes.
just for people that are right now living, but also for, let's just say, at a more higher dimensional levels. It's not just for us, and it's not just for our bodies, our single lives and lifetimes.
It's really a galactic thing.
It's bigger than galactic.
Yep.
Yes.
And we reclaiming our hearts and our souls to live as free human beings walking
Yes.
on planet Earth is really, it's a critical thing right now. And this is not something to be taken lightly. It's amazing.
No.
But
it's also, but you can make light of it. Not
yes,
to be taken lightly, but you can
it's
make
true.
light of it and have fun with it.
It's true.
Like like you say, well, and you can literally turn it all around. And that's what's going on, is that it's all these operations to lock down humanity and keep us, openly enslaved. Okay, they're all being flipped. The tables are being turned every single move they make.
Yes.
and that's a whole nother topic as to how that's
It's
happening and
true
why.
though. Yeah.
But it's all being reversed because you can't, no matter what kind of plans you make, even as a dark shaman with powers and all all these whatever on the other side, it doesn't matter. The divine plan is the divine plan, and there's just nothing, quote, higher or more powerful than that, and it's inevitable.
Yes.
It's inevitable. There's not there's you can slow it down maybe, but you cannot stop it.
And so
Just
the
like
most,
Q says, the QAnon, nothing can stop what's coming.
that's right.
Nothing can
That's
stop
right.
what's coming. So basically, back to the choice, very quickly. It's a choice between, are you going to go into the beautiful new earth dynamic love-based future with the awoke humanity, or are you going to cling to the past and to be a little hamster on a wheel and cling to, because you feel more secure that Big Brother is taking care of you?
Right.
That's basically the choice. And the
Right.
thing is, it's being put in everybody's face. There's
Yes.
no more middle ground, and this is
True.
really a critical fundamental concept right now. This is the great awakening, and if you don't awake now, then you'll have to exit and awake at some other time in some other
That's right.
place.
Yep. And this is
And
a
there's no
time.
judgment, by the way. It's a
True.
fun, that's okay. If that's what you choose, that's okay.
It
There's no
is.
judgment here.
It's all a perfect part of the journey,
Peace,
whatever you
peace. It's
choose.
okay.
Whatever you choose, it's all a perfect part of the journey. And I see these people post,
Yes.
they have to be, whatever, come down, be punished, whatever. But the truth is, if we can stay in our hearts, we can go into love, we can observe what's going on. Observe it. Just observe it going by the screen and say, I'm choosing to stay in a state of love. I'm choosing, there was a time in my life when I felt like I couldn't go live a life that would really bring me joy. I had to stay someplace and suffer, and keep working at what everybody else was. And thank goodness I woke up from that, and I am living a really beautiful life where I can think something and the next day it's happening on amazing levels, amazing scales. I don't even want to get into it right now, but let me just toss out a few of the little news blips that came by in the last 2 days, which I was
Oh,
really excited about. Go ahead.
one thing I'd like to say, because it's that exact topic, is
Yep.
that in my new blog on my new website for my ashram hostel,
Right.
I address exactly that issue. I said I was locked down in paradise is the title, and
Nice.
that's exactly what I decided. I said, okay, we're locked down, we can't leave. I have a couple of renters and guests here. What am I going to do to keep everybody's vibration as high as possible? And so I
Nice.
talk about what I did exactly, and
Very
I made
cool.
a choice. Am I going to sit here and cower and be locked down, or am I going to, hey, let's do something fun and dynamic? And that's what I did, and everybody loved it. It worked out great.
I'll
So
put that link under this video as soon as we're done being live, and I'll also put it on. It'll end up on my YouTube as well. So we'll make sure your links get under there if people want to contact you or read your stuff, which is very good. So Putin said today that they're ending the non-working days in Russia. They're going to go back online. And
yes,
yes, and I feel like he is a starseed here with a big lightsaber, and he's here kind of to help take down this old faction behind the scenes, as is Trump. And yesterday, May 11th, in Trump's briefing on COVID-19 testing, near the end at about 52 minutes, a reporter questions him about a tweet he made on Mother's Day about Obama. And Trump answers him, he goes, "It's Obamagate. It's been going on for a long time." So if you think Trump doesn't know about the tweets that are happening, the hashtags that are happening, the wave of consciousness that's happening, that's been carried forward by the Q people, by a lot of alternative news, he's very aware. And he says
of course.
terrible things happen that should never have been allowed to happen, and you'll see about it in the coming weeks. So some
Yeah, you
things are going
will.
to be
I mean,
surfacing.
it's hard to believe that some people actually think that the president of the United States is not aware of everything
Yes.
going on. You have to be. You're the commander in chief. You get a report on your desk every single morning. Okay, everybody knows this. Well, everybody that knows anything knows this. From the CIA, intelligence report every single morning. That's the first thing they have to read. So they know everything going on, and they have a huge staff. I mean, that's why they have a chief of staff. It's a huge staff, and they're going over everything in minute detail every moment of every day, 24/7. So, yeah. But Putin and Trump, they're not the biggest guns. They're not the biggest chiefs around on this planet. So you got to remember that they also have people they counsel with. Yes. And they are getting instructions from.
There's a whole team of people that we call the white hats, but they're all the way around the world, and they're here to serve this change. It's not just a few scattered people.
It's a huge team. It's a huge team. Yes.
So there's also an announcement. A 12-page document was put forward for an investigation on the DOJ, the Department of Justice, the FBI, and what happened with the Hillary Clinton email probe getting stopped. So that's really being carried forward at a federal level. And they basically said the DOJ can't really investigate itself. So it's an outside team that will be investigating. And they said there's really good people in all these organizations, but we also need to find out what has been subverting things. So
just so you know that these investigations have already been ongoing. These are simply the public announcements of the investigations. That, remember, there's two things happening. There's things that are actually going on behind the scenes, and then there's the public announcement of things that are going on behind the scenes, you see. And the public announcement doesn't happen ever in any investigation until it's almost over.
That's right. And it's been going on behind the scenes, in the news behind the scenes, for months now. And so when you see it getting announced publicly, it's because it's happening. It's already in motion. And
it's already almost done.
True.
Yeah.
So, Alexander, really good to be here with you today. And I hope that we can do some more of these chats, because I think unraveling the shift to the ages is a really important thing to be doing right now. People are looking for answers. They're looking for guidance. They're looking for, how do I move forward in all of this? And hopefully we can just throw out a few words of wisdom and what we've experienced and kind of what we know from kind of being in this big picture for a while.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's extremely important. Everybody needs to make their choice as to what path they'd like to take and to what world they like to live in. And this is the time. Like my old poem from years back, it's time. And that's linked in that blog post of mine, a new blog post. It's time for everybody to raise their eyes up and take a stand and make a choice for light and love and a beautiful new earth where we can all work together. But it does take that choice and that commitment, and it takes authenticity. Authenticity, I think, was the idea that we were trying to get at earlier. And take the mask off, like Sasha Stone is saying. Take the mask off. The face that you put out in the public, the constructed persona. Let it, and just be yourself, be your raw, open self, and let the chips fall where they may. And yes, we do lose relationships with people that don't want to come along for the beautiful ride of love,
Yes.
We do. But you know what? You got to choose what's more important, keeping that relationship and staying in lower vibration and staying in misery and fear, or moving onward and upward. It's your choice. Yep. It's your choice.
True. Okay. Thank you so much. We'll see you again soon. Remember to breathe, smile, and love.
Empower your life as a 21st century superhuman with host Cary Kirastar Ellis and guests. Navigate these times of great change with Cary's 21st Century Superhuman book series, being called the most important books on the planet and guidebooks for our times. You are a creator. Remember to breathe, smile, and love. For as we change ourselves, we change the world. Learn more at 21stcenturysuperhuman.com.